Welcome to my short flight review about a relatively unknown German airline called German Airways. My name is Christian, who is compensating his midlife crisis with travel vlogging, all in English with a strong Swiss-German accent. And if you are still here, welcome to the KLM Lounge in Amsterdam, from where I will start my journey today. My flight aboard German Airways today will bring me to Bremen, in the north of Germany. From what I have found out so far, German Airways is an ACMI charter provider, or also known as wet lease provider, which basically means they offer their aircraft crew, maintenance and also insurance to other airlines. As a consequence, I had to book a KLM flight in order to fly German Airways today, as I couldn't book a flight with German Airways directly. It looks like KLM is asking German Airways to fly a number of routes within Europe on their behalf. Reasons may vary, for example, lack of sufficient number of own aircraft, handling of peak season, crew shortages, or even testing of new routes. Anyway, I've already left the lounge and I'm on my way to the bus gates, which are about a 10-minute stroll away from the lounge in the Schengen area. The gate only indicates a KLM flight, so if somebody didn't read the small indication saying operated by German Airways when booking the flight, he or she might be surprised to be bussed to an aircraft other than one with KLM colors. As always, I turn up at the gate way too early, so I had to wait a couple of minutes in this rather busy boarding area. Eventually it was time for boarding the bus. That will take us to the Fokker Farm, or at least it was called Fokker Farm. At the time, KLM was operating Fokker 70s and Fokker 100s from this farm. And with farm, I mean the KLM or KLM Cityhopper outer stands that were not connected to any jet bridges. Nowadays it's full of Embraers of various subtypes, so maybe it should be called Embraer Farm today, or even Embraer Fazienda. Here it is, the reason why I fly to Bremen today, this German Airways Embraer E190 in full German Airways colors. Quite often ACMI providers would adjust their livery to the customer or add additional titles or even keep their aircraft in an all-white livery, but not German Airways, which is nice. The Embraer is equipped with the usual 2-2 seat layout, all economy class seats, even in business class, as it is common in Europe unfortunately. The headrests have a KLM cover, a pretty faded KLM cover though, with the white titles nearly gone. I got myself a seat in the emergency exit row because of my constant fear of lack of leg space, but no worries, we will check out a regular seat as well. This aircraft surely didn't roll off the assembly line in Brazil yesterday, as there are traces for well usage. We'll check the aircraft's actual age shortly. Boarding is still ongoing as we wait for the next bus to arrive and offload the next bunch of Bremen goers. And may I introduce you to our aircraft's brother, another German Airways Embraer E190, but with a slightly different color scheme. Did you notice? Take a look and maybe you see the quite significant difference. Of course we have a safety card here and as expected not a KLM one, but German Airways original one. By the way, have you already subscribed to my channel? If not, consider doing so and maybe also leave a thumbs up. That would make me happy. Overhead I find speakers, reading lights and I'm happy to also see personal air fans. This is our aircraft today, Delta Alpha Zulu Foxtrot Alpha, which was almost 18.5 years old at the time of this flight. It began its life in Colombia with Aero Republica back in 2007. Pretty much on time we are being pushed off the stand and soon we will be up in the air with me finally flying German Airways after an unsuccessful attempt about 2 years earlier. Back then German Airways was also flying for ITA Airways out of Milano Linate, and when I booked a flight with ITA Airways I was promised operated by German Airways. But pretty soon after booking the flight I saw that my flight to Bari was instead operated by ITA Airways own metal. So today marks my second attempt and it seems to be a successful one. Eventually it was our turn to turn onto the runway for departure towards Bremen on this beautiful spring day. Our relatively short flight today will take us from the Netherlands right into Germany, flying in a northeasterly direction to just south of the city of Bremen, where we find Bremen Airport. Departure was uneventful and I was enjoying the view of the very flat landscape of the Netherlands. Being born and raised in the Swiss Alps between mountain cows and Emmentaler cheese, such a flatness remains an unusual sight for me, but I'm sure growing up between flatland cows and Gouda cheese is also not too bad. It's the first time I see such a sign in an emergency exit row. If I'm not mistaken, 16 is usually the age limit for this seat. While the legroom is excellent in the emergency exit row, there's usually a catch, such as the right armrest, that is part of the exit door, and certainly not as comfortable or flexible as the usual armrest. This seat seems to be reclinable, but since I have someone behind me, I'm not going to try it out. I'm sure you have seen a reclined seat before, otherwise I have plenty of other videos where I show examples of a seat recline. And since I sit in the emergency exit row, I'm instructed with a few tasks, in case the situation requires it. Let's hope not. What else do we have in here? The Holland Herald, which is KLM's in-flight magazine, since the flight is operated for KLM. And there's also an air sickness bag. That's it. As the cabin attendant is approaching my row with the service cart, let's prepare the table. Because of the distance to the seat in front, the table can be pulled closer to me. In true KLM manner, German Airways offers a little snack and water to the economy class guests. It's a nice treat compared to many other airlines in Europe that don't offer anything free of charge anymore. And calling this snack a treat is actually a testimony of the general decline of economy class service, or better, economy class inclusions. But in all fairness, as the economy class inclusions have declined, so have the airfares over the past decades, if inflation considered. How about checking out the German Airways E190 rear lavatory? As expected, it is fairly small and it comes with the amenities that you would expect from any aircraft lavatory, such as napkins and towels, soap, sink, a loo, and this one also has a baby changing table. It's quite a light load with only a handful of people heading to Bremen today. While the headrest looks nice with the KLM imprint, although I don't know if the letters were supposed to be white at some point, the window blind looks a bit battered and filthy. But hey, it's alright. I don't want to complain about well-used stuff on an aircraft that is almost 2 decades old. I rather enjoy this wonderful legroom here. And talking about legroom, this is how it looks like in one of the other economy class rows. It's quite a generous legroom, I would say, considering I'm 1m93 or 6'4". The seatbelt sign is on and we have started our descent towards Bremen. As unspectacular the departure from Amsterdam was, as unspectacular the arrival into Bremen is. And it's still very flat out there. Welcome to Bremen Airport. To summarize my experience with German Airways, I would say my favorite part is the generous legroom they offer. And not only in the emergency exit row, as you just saw a minute ago. The catering on board, I suppose, is dictated by the airline that is hiring German Airways. The cabin crew was very friendly and in a good mood, which can be addictive. And I trust the aircraft is well maintained in accordance to the latest aviation safety standards and regulations, but the cabin interior surely has seen better days. Would I fly German Airways again? My answer is yes, as I see no issues with that. I'm surprised that this small airport offers a jet bridge for us. So disembarkation was a breeze, and since we remained within the Schengen zone, there was no immigration, and within minutes I was on my way to the hotel. By the way, if you ever end up at Bremen Airport, there is a free of charge viewing terrace. And if you are patient enough, you might even see an aircraft going in or out of Bremen, as the airport isn't too busy. Thank you for watching. Till next time, bye for now.